Sreeram, and after that we will have a very quick fireside with Sreeram to talk about Ethereum and also a little bit about this Alpha Eigen. Yeah, so as Sreeram mentioned, right? So there are a lot of new stuff coming from this Eigen, and at the same time, a lot of this new stuff actually try to bootstrap this new network and services we call AVS. And as you can see, it can really help to basically provide more like sort of activities and also applications to the Ethereum. And as we all know, like recently, first introduction, I'm founder of AltLayer, so YQ here, and glad to have everyone to be here, and hope you enjoy the event for the day. Okay, back to the topic. The first one is very spicy. As we all know, right, recently on this Ethereum, there's a lot of this kind of criticism on these Ethereum L2s. And some of the people talking about like, okay, probably L2s and rollups are this parasitic to Ethereum. And yeah, what do you think about this kind of topic? And in your opinion, I know like we know each other for a long time. You've been doing these scaling solutions and also consensus protocols since 2018. So you really have a lot of experience on this. So how do you feel about like this narrative or these kind of opinions on like L2's rollout to parasitic to Ethereum? At the same time, in your opinion, what's the best way to scale Ethereum if we have the second chance?
Yeah. I think the best way to scale Ethereum is the rollup centric roadmap. And rollups are, when people think about rollups are parasitic to Ethereum, they're basically thinking about how much revenue does Ethereum chain make. I think this is not necessarily the right angle to look at what rollups are doing. So when you think about ETH as money, so Bitcoin as money is a thing that we talk about, as digital gold. But you think of ETH as money, then when you think about money, the first thing that you think about is where can you securely use that money? Think of USD. Like you can use USD securely inside the United States. If you try to use it elsewhere, you're not secure. Okay, so when you think about a currency that, or money, you want to think about where is it that it can be securely used. And if you think about Bitcoin, where can it be securely used? It can be securely used inside the Bitcoin blockchain for sending and receiving Bitcoin. That's all you can do with it. Where can ETH be used? So if you think of ETH as programmable money, like that money that can be used and programmed across a variety of different systems, where can ETH be used? ETH can be used on every rollup securely. And that's crazy. So you're basically saying that the secure habitability zone of ETH is not just Ethereum L1, it's on every chain. And imagine this chain's cost of using it goes to zero, which is what people are calling parasitic, which is that, hey, they take the Ethereum L1 traffic and send it somewhere and the cost of using it goes to zero. That's amazing for ETH because now ETH as programmable money, the internet native money can be used on all these different chains, built by Base, built by BlackRock, built by all the cool developers here who are the avant-garde of like, hey, let me build a cool social network, let me build a cool wearable app and all this kind of stuff. And all of these applications can now consume ETH. So in some sense, the Ethereum and the community falsely like put them into a corner by saying, oh, we are burning ETH and like ETH, that's what is important. But really what is important is ETH is the programmable money that can be used across all these different, roll-ups and services.
Absolutely, I believe it's really about like original vision for Vitalik and in the early days back in 2015, they want the Ethereum to be the world computer. And at that time, we all know that the transaction throughput not that good, so they proposed various different approaches to scale Ethereum. In the early days, better consensus protocol, better sharding technology, plasma, and then these different rollups. So I think right now Ethereum really achieved what they wanted to achieve like a few years ago, probably a decade ago. Now we can see the throughput super good for all different L2s rollups, and beyond that, we can really have super low transaction fees. Like for some of the rollups, like it's even can be lower than 0.01 cent. It's really, really low, even lower than Solana. So that's then to a second specific question. Like I know, like yesterday you had a very like nice conversation with Lily from Solana Foundation. So in your opinion, Ethereum versus Solana for the next few years, which one you feel like is more promising?
Yeah. It's a fun question. The thesis for ETH for me really revolves around ETH being the internet native programmable money. I think that's the thesis. And some people think, before we do ETH versus Sol, I think we need to think about ETH versus USDC or USD coins. So if you think about USD, so some people say like, why should ETH be the money for all these rollups? Why not USD be the money for all these rollups? And so we don't need ETH. And the answer to that is, if you look at other countries in the world, are they going to be happy that everybody is using USD in these in every country? It's actually taking on a counter sovereignty risk. Like your country, you run your country, and then like you have some other sovereign nation can issue, block, censor all of your inhabitants. It makes no sense that USD, the crypto dollar will become the default currency for all of crypto. It doesn't make sense. I think that place has to be either Bitcoin or Ethereum. And Bitcoin's not programmable enough, so it's ETH. So ETH becomes the internet native programmable money. So that's our thesis. But the Solana thesis is slightly different. The Solana thesis is, all you need is stable coins and stable coin volume and like this. This is a losing game. Okay. Why is this a losing game? You look at, and to be like the global NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, that is the Solana's like goal. If you look at that goal, you can look at how big New York Stock Exchange is, and New York Stock Exchange's parent company is Intercontinental Exchange. We're at the Intercontinental Hotel, which has nothing to do with Intercontinental Exchange. Look at the market cap of Intercontinental Exchange. It's less than 100 billion.
Yeah.
Solana's already there. So there's no growth left. It has already factored it being the New York Stock Exchange. And New York Stock Exchange is a centralized exchange, so it can extort all kind of rent. Solana is not a centralized stock exchange. It's a decentralized one. There's very little rent to be This idea that you're going to make fees and then that's going to be the dominant thing, I think is an erroneous thing. So Solana doesn't have a consistent thesis of why it needs to exist.
I think it's a really like sort of new way to do the analysis, especially for the crypto like sort of systems. Like we all know, like we are all friends for like the past few years, and we're working together on the restaking ecosystem. And we all know that as Sreeram mentioned, right, in the previous presentation, like Eigen really created a new category like AVS. And right now, Eigen already been in the space for a long time, and we have so many stakers and builders, and also a lot of these users. So, what's the biggest challenge right now to Eigen, in your opinion?
The biggest challenge is I mentioned this at when you want to build and deploy an AVS. So our thesis is open innovation, which means innovators are the lifeblood of the Eigen economy. So when you think about innovation and innovators are the lifeblood, so the core point is when you think about how hard it is to innovate today and build an AVS, I think the bar to build an AVS is quite high. It's extremely difficult. It takes 6 months to 1 year to actually go and build an AVS. And so I would say this is one of the biggest challenges in the EigenLayer ecosystem is how do we reduce the time to build and deploy AVSs? It's something that YQ and AltLayer have been thinking a lot about. And the first version of this is the restaked rollup.
Yes.
It's a bundle that you can actually take and run as an AVS for your own rollup. It's an instance of like this bundle, and you can say, hey, I want to run a rollup, and it needs finality, it needs watchtowers, it needs like these various services. I'm just going to use this bundle and then get this done. So it's kind of like a Cosmos SDK for rollups.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. We have the banner here.
Yeah.
And beyond that, as you just mentioned, right? We all seeing like sort of like this apart from this restaking, like created by Eigen, and then later these actively validated services, AVS. After that, you also have another amazing white paper around this intersubjective fault. Can you briefly explain to the audience what's that about and how we use it, because like I still feel like I read the white paper 3 times, as I mentioned to you, right? It's really amazing. It's sort of like for the past like at least 2 years, that's the best white paper I've read. And EigenLayer is a little bit complex for readers to understand. So I want to read like your opinion to share with the audience.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for that kind statement. The intersubjective is like this like crazy word, and it became widely memed as like, oh, these guys are crazy, they're doing something stupid. By the way, this is exactly the same thing that happened with restaking. Restaking became popular because there was a meme that said, oh, you stake and then you stake again, and like is there some kind of like a degen funny thing. And intersubjective is like, oh, just people you throwing some word salad into it. But actually what's going on is the following. So if you look at why a blockchain is secure, what is the security reason that a blockchain is secure? If you look at it, you say, oh, you have a bunch of validators, they're running the service, and they're putting some money at risk, and they're running the service. That's why the blockchain is secure. If that's all the reason, then, as long as the validators are willing to lose their money, they can attack the blockchain.
Yeah.
But that is not a very strong security model because, for example, in Ethereum, you have like $50 to $100 billion staked, but the total amount of assets on Ethereum is 500, 600 billion. Mm-hmm. So, if you can lose 50 billion, gain 500 billion, seems like a pretty good deal. So systems are not secure just based on the amount of stake in the system. Ethereum is secure because even if all the validators collude and create a wrong answer, Ethereum will fork. Mm-hmm. Ethereum will fork into the right state because you'll say, oh, this is an invalid block, even if everybody has signed up on it, because you can self-verify that it's actually an erroneous block. And say that that's the right block, a new block which is created and slashes all the bad guys. That's the right block, and you can know it. Mm. But this feature, so forking is the superpower of blockchains. But this forking power is trapped at the layer 1. Mm-hmm. So Ethereum forks only for issues happening at the layer 1 level, at the consensus protocol. And I go and build some service on top of EigenLayer. In fact, Vitalik in his famous blog post said, do not overload Ethereum consensus. Yes. Which basically means don't go and screw up something on EigenLayer or a roll-up or something and then come back and ask us to bail you out by forking Ethereum. Will not be supportive. This makes sense because Ethereum's forking is restricted to the Ethereum L1. Yeah. What we did with the Eigen token is to create a forking system that can be used by any AVS, any app, any rollup to actually create forks. So you can think of it as what is forking? Forking is some kind of social consensus. And the Eigen token creates social consensus as a service. Instead of saying do not overload social consensus, because social consensus is expensive and complex, actually create a clear boundary of what is social consensus. Measure the economic value of social consensus. Charge users to pay for it. And that's really what the Eigen token is all about, is actually taking the superpower of forking, which is why blockchains are secure. And when you think about blockchains, what are they? They're basically systems that are secure, not depending on any authority, any majority, any committee, but just correct all the time because it's self-verifiable. That's the same power we want to give to every AVS, every rollup, every application.
It's a fantastic explanation. I totally understand the whole concept, but I believe audience probably need to read the right paper again. But anyway, back to the last question. I believe we really learned a lot on the technology of Eigen. So what's the next sort of milestone roadmap looking like? And beyond that, what's the alpha? I believe people see that recently there are a lot of amazing sort of news on the new research on slashing mechanism and also the state drop and also the future programmatic sort of rewards or ABS. So roughly, can you quickly explain what's the roadmap for Eigen next and a little bit alpha? Yeah.
Yeah. The rewards and payments went live on mainnet. So now AVSs can choose to pay rewards, don't have to, but can choose to pay rewards. That feature is available. The next one is slashing, the unique security model I briefly alluded to. That is going live in Q4.
Yeah.
Then The third one is programmatic incentives. So one of the ways we bootstrap the EigenLayer economy is on day one, we don't want an AVS to come and think about, hey, how do I get enough security?
Yeah.
How do I pay? How do I slash? We don't want to think about all these things. We want an AVS to come and build useful services on day one. And then over time, they can add on the right economics, the right trust model, all of these things. So that's the way each AVS should be thinking. And so to support that, we need to be able to get stakers and operators to actually download and run these AVSs. So we need to have incentives. So we have a programmatic incentive system going live where the Eigen tokens are basically given as rewards to stakers.
Yeah.
And so if you stake into many AVSs, then you get additional rewards. So this is a programmatic incentive system that's going live. So what this means is we have basically all the different aspects of the ecosystem ready to go in the coming months. Payments, slashing, programmatic incentives. So excited to see all the development going on. And I think a brief shout out to Wizard that AltLayer is building. Maybe you want to say one word. And
Oh yeah, so as mentioned, right, we are building this AVS as service platform called Wizard. So like right now, if you want to launch an AVS Eigen, you just need to click a bunch of buttons. Within a few minutes, you can launch a very interesting AVS Eigen. So that's something you can literally try out today here. And beyond that, that's a wrap up for the Fireside. Super glad to have Sreeram here. And yeah, thanks for your time.
thank you so much.
Hope you enjoy the remaining of the events. Yeah, thank you.